Today I'm going to be walking through my current Nikon kit for 2025. There are some things that I am for sure absolutely going to be keeping, but then some optional extras that I don't know yet. And also, if you are interested in getting in on the members website, it is 50% off until the end of this month. So if you want to get in, it's now $30 a month, and that does not increase if you do get in on that rate. It's also 100% money back guarantee. So if you sign up, you get instant access to all of the courses as well as all the downloads like my presets. Presets are worth $89. You sign up to the member site for $30, you download those presets, you're already ahead. You can cancel at any time, there's no contract, and a 100% money back guarantee. So if you do sign up and it's not what you're expecting, send me an email. Email is here on the screen. I'll send your money back. Now, into the Nikon kit for 2025. So right now we're kind of between two camera releases. So the Nikon Z5 II is out, and if you are just on the wedding photography only stream, I would recommend this camera. This would be my go-to camera, even in comparison to a camera like the Z8, which is a lot more expensive. The Z5 II still kind of wins for me, and plus you can buy two of them for the same cost as a Z8, or you can get one and you can get some lenses. So that would be my recommendation if you're in the photography only. For me, I do a lot of hybrid photo video coverage, and one of the things that the Z5 II lacks for me, unfortunately, is 4K 60 recording with no crop. So I am on the Nikon Z6 III. I have two of them. To walk you through how I would usually use them on a wedding day, I'll have one as a main camera and one as a wider camera. So I'll talk about all the lenses I have in a minute, but I will have a main camera in my hand with the lens that I think is gonna be right for the scene. And I'll have my second camera body with a wider lens, typically in my camera bag, but sometimes, especially during the ceremony, I'll have it on my arm just in case I need it. So Nikon Z6 III ×2 as my main camera bodies. And that is primarily because I am doing that hybrid photo video coverage and I do need 4K 60. Otherwise, happy on the Z5 II. Now let's talk about lenses. I'm gonna talk about the optional lenses first, and then we're going to get into the stuff that I'm for sure keeping and that I've pretty much been using since I started my wedding photography career about 20 years ago. I've done over 1,000 weddings all around the world, and there are, I think, 80 full-length behind-the-scenes wedding days on the channel. So if you're interested in seeing a full behind-the-scenes wedding day, I'll put a link down below for that. So first, optional lens. It's beautiful. The 50mm f1.2. So I'm gonna make a video on this alone on my decision-making process. So there are three 1.2 primes right now, the 35, the 50, and the 85. I've used all of them and they're all amazing. The reason that I went with the 50 is because I feel that it's just the most general lens for the wedding day, that it felt weird to go with a 35 1.2 because it's heavy and it's expensive, and I feel like there's just something special when you get to a 50mm focal length in terms of the background disappearing. But then at 85 at 1.2, I almost feel like it's too much in a lot of cases. So because of those reasons, I again have purchased the 50mm f1.2. And we'll see how long this lasts. This is the second time I've bought this lens, and I've also used it a lot on the channel for reviews. Those are borrowed lenses from Nikon. But this is the second time for me actually buying this lens. But the problem is, well, actually, I'll talk about that in a minute. The next optional lens for me, Tamron 28-75. f2.8. This is a great all-day lens, and it's a lot more cost-effective than the 24-70 f2.8Z. That's an absolutely beautiful lens, but if you want to save some money, this will get you pretty much all the way there for a lot less. Yeah, you're going to miss out on the additional 4mm in wide, but overall, you're going to be really, really happy with this lens. The reason that I'm not sure if I'm keeping this is because I tend to be a prime shooter, so I'm going to talk about the prime lenses I have next. And with those primes, there's just a lot of overlap with this, and maybe I'll talk about this right now. I want everything for my wedding day to fit into this Peak Design messenger bag. This is the 13-liter version. I think that this is the newer one, but it's pretty old now. I think it only comes in 13, and I like that size a lot. I carry it with me all wedding day, and that means whatever kit I choose has to fit into the three compartments here. So inside I have three compartments, and one of them is gonna be a camera body, and that means that I have one slot kind of left over. And I kind of like that using this bag and kind of being tied to that principle of I want to be able to carry everything easily helps me really minimize my kit. Now, let's talk about probably the best wedding lens ever made. I'm gonna call it that. The 35-150 Tamron. It is an f2 to f2.8, so at 35 it is at f2, and at 150 it is at 2.8. And it does extend like that. I think it doesn't really start to extend really until you're at about 50. So after 50, it starts to telescope out a little bit. But at 35, it's nice and compact. This is for sure the absolute best ceremony lens of all time. I tend to be photographing ceremonies that are maybe between 80 to 150 people on most weekends, and this is the perfect lens for that. If I was in bigger cathedrals all the time, maybe I would want to get that 70-200, but in the venues that I find myself at, I'm very happy with this, and also you can go into crop mode in your cameras or just crop in post-production if you do want to get a little bit more reach out of this lens. But there is one problem with it. It's a little expensive. It's not the craziest, most expensive lens, but it's also, as you can see, just kind of big and heavy. So I don't love to use it as an all-day lens. For that reason, it's pretty much just comes down to the ergonomics. I find that I make better work when I feel a little more agile. So I like to use smaller lenses. For the ceremony, for family photos, for photos of the couple, for cocktail hour for sure, for candidates throughout the entire day, this is a great go-to though. You will notice that that lens begins at 35 millimeters, which means you need something a little bit wider, and that is why we have the 24 millimeter f1.8s. This is an amazing lens. I used a 20 for a while. The 20 is very nice. It's a little bit easier for self-filming, but something special is going on with the 24. It's also, I think, a little bit smaller than the 20 as well. So I would be recommending this 24 millimeter f1.8s if you're looking for an amazing wide angle lens. So this lens will mostly be on my second camera body, either in my bag or on my shoulder most of the day, as well as outside of just weddings. I'll be using this for filming a lot of YouTube content as well, including a full behind the scenes wedding day with Jason Vincent. And then the last lens, 35 1.4. This is the non-S version. I like it a lot. The reason I like this is because it's a little bit smaller. So for getting ready, I prefer to have this kit. Once the ceremony begins, I'm gonna need the versatility of the Tamron 35 to 150. But throughout a lot of the other parts of the day, I am happier on this lens. This obviously does overlap with this lens here. In fact, you could probably build a lot of different kits from everything in front of me. One very reasonable kit would be the 24 in one camera body, 51.2 or 51.8 or 1.4 even on a second camera body, and then something a little bit longer, like this 35 to 150 for the ceremony. Or if you just want zooms, you could probably even get away with the 28 to 75 f2.8 and this 35 to 150. And these two lenses could realistically get you through an entire day. I would recommend having something a little bit wider just in case, but overall I'm gonna say 99.9% of the images on a wedding day can be done with these two lenses. Another kit option, and the one that I probably use the most, so I've gone 50 at least for the beginning of this season. Usually my kit looks a little bit more like this 35 on one camera body and an 85 on the other. I've shot this combination of lenses for a long time now, and I just love the separation between the two lenses. I would rather use those two primes than a zoom. I love to be able to shoot at 1.8 or 1.4 or 1.2. I just feel like aesthetically those images are a lot more pleasing to me and hopefully pleasing to my clients as well. And yes, I do know by using primes that maybe you're gonna miss out on one or two frames that you could have gotten with a zoom lens here at the wedding day, but I feel like, at least for me, the quality of work is a lot higher overall than if I was using a zoom lens. Now, what my actual wedding kit is going to look like from all of these, going to tomorrow's wedding, I'm going to have the 24, and I'm going to have the 35 to 150. So it's just gonna be these three lenses for me tomorrow. And we're gonna see how long this kit will last. It is very likely that 3 weddings from now, I'm going to be craving the 35 and 85 again. 85 1.8 specifically for receptions. I like to be out of the way as much as possible. And the 50 1.2 is gonna let in more light than the 85 1.8. But I feel like the 85 lets you get a little bit closer, specifically to podiums pretty much and first dances without really being in the way. So I think at some point I'm gonna go back to preferring the 85, but for now, I'm gonna try out this 50. I'm gonna try to get on board with the everyone's most favorite 50 millimeter lens. Next in my bag, I have a cell phone charger. I don't have that with me now, but I have something that's USB-C just in case I need to plug this in or charge something or even charge the Godox V100. This is Godox V100. It comes with a little attachment here so you can get some forward light as well as the round head up here. It also comes with some attachments. I leave those in my car typically, and I'm usually pretty happy just to leave this as it is in venues. I feel like most of the lighting that I'm encountering recently has been a little bit more tuned to daylight and less just that really yellow incandescent bulb. If it is, you're gonna want a CTO gel or one of the cups that come with this to make your flash orange so it matches the scene. But that also comes down to personal taste, that if you want to accentuate, so you don't want to hide your flash, you want to use your flash more as a spotlight on people, it might be useful to have that flash as a different color in order to make the background just seem really nice and warm. Godox V100 for Nikon. Love that I can just charge this on USB-C. Really nice update with that. I think the V1 Pro is also chargeable by USB-C. The other ones, you need a tiny little battery adapter that I don't really love. Next on the Godox train, an off-camera flash adapter. This is the X3 and N for Nikon. I don't typically use off-camera flash as much as I used to. I used to use off-camera flash a lot, I think out of necessity, because just lighting in venues was just a lot dimmer than I wanted it to be and I needed to bring in light. Now the high ISO capabilities of these cameras are incredible. So as long as I have good quality of light on people, and that means that I just don't have a pot light directly above the podium. But if there is a situation that I find myself in that I just can't get right with my on-camera flash, I'll go off camera. And if you remember, there's a full flash course over there, exactly how I use flash on a wedding day, and it's a little counterintuitive. I'm bouncing off a lot of surfaces and doing things a little bit differently. So you can check that course out if you remember, if you do get in on that 50% off before it's gone. Additional 2 batteries on the day. And there it is. Other things that I'll do. So I'll also sometimes bring my laptop. I've talked about this on on the channel before that I will just sit down, and if I have some time over dinner, if I know that maybe they're gonna do 2 courses, 3 courses in a row with no speeches, nothing that I have to be up to capture, I will actually sit down, I'll download all my cards to a solid state hard drive. I do use AI editing with Imagine. You can get 1,500 free edits below if you sign up with that. So I use them for the editing. For culling, Imagine also does it, but I have found that I am just as fast to go through manually and cull. So if I have that half an hour of downtime over dinner, I can usually cull all the way up to that point, so that when I get home from the wedding, I'll just go through basically as the cards are downloading, I'll just be finishing up from dinner on. And then before I go to sleep, I'll send it to Imagine and I'll have my final edits by morning, and then have my gallery fully online the day after the wedding. The reason I like that is because I get to see and verify that all the parts of the day are there, all the family photos are there, I'm not missing anything, I'm gonna be okay to format these cards eventually. And I'm not sending that gallery to the couple right away. I'm gonna send them maybe 10 or 15 selects from the day, a few photos for them to share on social media. And then the full gallery, which is usually about maybe 700 images, comes 3 to 4 weeks after the wedding. One last thing I didn't touch on, card sizes. So it's a reasonable megapixel here in this camera. I think it's 24 megapixels, I believe. And I use 2 cards. And the 2 cards that I use will be 512 cards, and I will never have to swap them. I think it gives you like 14,000 images or something crazy. I shoot on the middle star compressed mode. There is a link to my setup of the Z5 II up here if you're interested in checking it out, but I will shoot on that high efficiency compressed, which I like because it basically makes my cards unlimited. I don't like to change cards throughout the wedding day. I'm not bringing a card wallet and swapping out cards halfway through the day. That scares me a little bit. But with the Nikon Z6 IIIs, I'm gonna say that even if you had 128 gigabyte memory cards in each of your slots, you're probably gonna be fine for a wedding day, but maybe go 256 if you have the budget. That's it, that's all. Let's see how my kit evolves over the next little bit and see how long I hang on to this 51-2. It's always a lens I request whenever I'm doing reviews for Nikon. This is always the one that I ask them to bring for me. So I think that I do like the lens a lot. I'm just gonna see how well a 50mm lens integrates into my wedding photography because it hasn't really connected in the past. So we'll all see together. And any questions you have, feel free to put them in the comments below. And yeah, 50% off member site. If you get in, you get that deal forever. 100% money back guarantee you sign up. It's not what you're thinking. Send me an email. Email's here on the screen. And also no contract term, and you get instant access to everything. So you can go watch that flash course, you can download my presets, or you can go watch the full hybrid photo video course, the Taylor Jackson method, exactly how I do the photo video coverage on wedding days, and how I sell it and pricing and everything that goes into running a successful hybrid business. That's all for me. See you next time.